Hi, I'm Kaden, and today we're going to be learning how to create new classifications and leave types. We're going to start off with the classifications. If you currently have classifications set up, you can always add a few extra ones if you need to. The easiest way to add these classifications is through the Jumpstart menu from the user module. You can also do this in the configuration module. But being a user, you're always in the user module, so we're going to do it via that. You can then just click on the Jumpstart menu. That is, if this Jumpstart does not appear when you open up TNA, the first time, you can always then link to it there. You'll see there is a classifications tab, which we can click on. And there's basically some steps that you need to follow. The first thing you need to do is select which classification types you want to use. By default, they aren't always all ticked. Some of them might be off. So you can go and specify which ones you want to use. I only want to use company, department, and category for argument's sake. I'm going to untick all the rest. Or if yours has been previously set up and you want to now add an extra one for branch, you can do that. You can then just click on OK. So now you've specified what kind of classifications you want to use. You now need to go and enter those classifications. So that would be step 2. You would select the classification type on your left-hand side for either company, department, or category, whichever you have selected. I'm going to set up a company, and we click on Add. You can then put your description in here, BC, company, and click on OK. I also want to go and create departments. So I'm going to add a few departments. Let's say this is for technical. And I'm going to create another one for admin. And let's create a third one for general workers. Okay, so I'm happy with that. Going to create 2 categories. I'm just going to call this for full-time and part-time. Okay, so now you've actually created all those different types of classifications. You need to also go and generate those different groups. This is so that it makes it available when actually printing reports, or if you want to select certain employees in the company or in the certain department, you need to actually generate those groups. So that would be then the third step, create employee group. We click on that. Now, if you're not sure what you created, and there's multiple ones here, it'll always highlight if there's been any changes, or the ones that you've actually selected will then be in black. The other ones will be grayed out usually. So let's go and specify these 3. These are new ones that we created. And we click on OK, and it'll generate those groups. Now once this step is done, we need to obviously go and classify those employees. Now there's 2 ways that you can actually classify them. You can do it via the Jumpstart menu, which you can basically then classify them in bulk, or you can go and classify them per employee. In this case, you can select your department, and you could put this person in the admin department, or else, if we close the screen and you go to your blue man, you can then click on change, and you can actually go and select the classifications there. Now those groups that have been generated, when you do then go and print any reports, you can specify those groups. Let's just choose a clockings report, and if we now click select employees, we will see those different groups that we have generated. And that's basically setting up the classifications. Now, if for argument's sake you had a classification department technical, and you now wanted to change this description a bit, or you want to actually remove that one and add another one, so you just went and edited that, you would need to actually delete this group first and then generate the new group, so that it can obviously take in the new description. Okay. And that's the classification types. We're going to move on to the leave types. We're also going to do this via the Jumpstart menu, as that is the easiest. So we can just click on leave. Once again, you can select the leave features that you want to use in terms of if you want to split the records, if there's leave accruement, any funny things like that. I'm going to leave these all as default. You can also enter public holidays from here, but we're going to go and create extra leave types. So if we click on step 4, create leave types, you will see then your default leave types have been set up here, and you can go and add another one for, let's see, workers' compensation. Now, according to this, whether you want it to assign any hours or not, or if you want to manually allocate hours, let's say you needed to create another annual leave one for a part day. You would actually set that up to allocate the hours manually, because you would go and specify that you want to give this guy 2 hours leave or 4 hours leave for that. If you wanted to automatically generate hours according to your shift rules, you would select that. That is obviously the most common. Or if it mustn't assign any hours at all, you can also then tick that. We're going to leave it on automatically from shift rules. We are going to deduct this from nothing, because you would either deduct this from your paid leave or from your sick leave. Now, this is not an annual leave type. It's a workers' compensation, so I'm not going to deduct it from my paid leave. It is also not a sick leave type, so I'm not going to deduct it from any sick leave. This deduction that gets done here is if you actually then go and click on change on an employee, and you click on employment, you will see that you can allocate the amount of annual leave days and the amount of annual sick leave days. Now, if you tick these blocks of where it needs to deduct it from, it'll either then affect your paid leave, your annual leave, or your sick leave. You can also then, if you're using a payroll like micropay for argument's sake, you can include this in payroll, and you would put then your code for your leave type there so that it can be used in your payroll report. You can also go and generate extra colors, choose colors there. I'm happy with that. I'm going to take this off, and we click on OK. So then you have created your extra leave types. Now, depending on your shift setup, if I can just go over to the configuration module quickly, depending on what your shifts have been set up in the daily shifts, you will see under the holiday link, it'll allocate hours. Now, if you only have one line which says all others, then it'll be fine. It'll allocate whatever hours have been specified there. It'll allocate that when you do the workers' compensation. If you have multiple leave types here, you've got one for sick, you've got one for study leave, whether it allocates hours or not, you would need to go and add another one and specifically list the compensation, workers' compensation leave, and then specify how many hours he needs to get under which column. If you're not sure about this, you can always then contact your support consultant, and they will be able to assist you with that. But basically, that is adding leave types and creating extra classifications. Hope you enjoyed the session, and I will see you next time. Goodbye.